welcome to another episode of Micelle Creations. Today I've had a request for a set of beach themed coasters, so that's what we're going to make today. I have already gone ahead and mixed up some resin with some sand. I just went down to our local beach and collected some sand. I actually ran it through some water to clean any icky stuff out of it, fishy smells and that sort of thing. And you can still see I still have some shells and a couple of rocks and stuff, but anyways, I mixed up, I filtered out the rocks and the extra stuff and stuck it in some resin, and I only put about maybe half an ounce, 3/4 of an ounce of resin in here, and the rest of this is sand. And I wanted it kind of like concrete because when I put it in my coaster, I want it to stay down here. I'm gonna have some resin that's not, I mean, you're never gonna get all of the resin completely mixed into this. So as this sets, some of that clear resin is gonna ooze out of there, and that's okay. I'm fine with that because we're gonna pour the colors in there and that'll hide that. But I wanna be able to put our sand in here and I want it to hold. But you're going to have to treat it like concrete, and you're going to have to push it down into the corner. Otherwise, you're going to have big old gaps down there. So, but this is kind of what I'm looking for. I want to make sure that I have a nice thick consistency so that it doesn't flow out into the rest of my coaster. I also want to make sure that when I'm putting this in here that it's not a nice straight line. No beach has a nice straight line of water. You got low spots, you got high spots, and I want to mimic that here as well. So we're just going to make sure that it gets down into all of those corners. Now the downside of doing this is I am going to have to put a back coat on this because it's sand. It's going to have a gritty texture on the back, and that's okay. I don't mind that, but you'll just need to make sure that you're planning on that texture, or excuse me, on the extra coat on the back that you maybe didn't plan on prior, because it's not a smooth texture. It's not resin. So I do have my heating mat on just to kind of help this set up a little bit quicker, because I want to, when I pour my resin in, I don't want my resin to go up against the sand and pull that sand out into my colored resin, out into my blues. I did pick a blue and a teal color for my water, and that's what we're going to use up against this. I'm just going to slap some in all of these so that I know I got enough for all of them. And they all don't have to look alike. That's the joy of this, is no two sections of a beach ever look alike. So none of these, and nobody in their right mind should expect this to look exactly alike in every scene, if you will. So we're just going to go ahead and push this down in there. And then I'll put you on fast forward so that you don't have to sit here and watch me do this, because you'll get the gist. Now, I did go ahead and try and, like a regular beach would, where the farther out into the ocean, the farther the sand down is down under the water. So I took the edge and feathered it down so that it's not the same thickness all the way across. I don't want a cookie in there. We want a beach. So I went ahead and smoothed the edges down, and you can have some stray sand out there. That's not going to hurt because it's natural. You just make it the way you want to do it. If you like it, by all means, you just have at it. But this way we'll have some extra, and I got a little rock right there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just going to leave that there because I kind of like it. All right. And now I'm going to let this sit for just a few minutes. I'm going to mix up the other two colors, and then we'll come back and we'll fill it in. You can see on your stick how dark that is. I did go ahead and put just a teeniest little bit. Okay, watch it. This is crushed crystal. I put just a tiny little bit of crushed crystal in here. I love some sparkle. So, and I wanted the water to have just a little bit of glimmer. So we did go ahead and put some crushed crystal in that. We'll put some waves on it and make it a lot more. And it's also going to help hide those bubbles that may have come up while we're stirring it too. It looks really dark through the cup, but that's because it's so deep. When you put it on the stick, you can see it's not nearly as dark. So we are going to darken that up just a smidgen more. That's better. I still want to be able to see the stick. I just want it to make sure that you can see the color on the stick. I am perfectly happy with that one. And then we're going to do the same thing with our blue. And you can see some of the resin starting to come out of the sand there. And there's just nothing you can do about it. You're never going to get it to the consistency where it won't have any of that. Oh, that's going to be super pretty. So there's my two colors. I'm going to put a little bit more blue in. Again, this also has crushed crystal in it. Very pretty. Oh my goodness, that's going to be so pretty. All right. Put my lids on because I know what'll happen. I'll end up spilling it. And I'm only going to focus on one coaster at a time. That way my colors don't get all wonky on me. So let's just start over here. How do I want to do it? Let's go this way. I am actually going to take... I grabbed the wrong end of that stick. No wonder it's so sticky. Oh my goodness. I'm going to put blue in this and make it just a smidgen darker and add it to the very top. So let's add some more blue. I don't want to ruin it. Oh my goodness. Oh, I grabbed the wrong stick, that's why. Now I'm just going to take and I'm going to combine the edges a little bit, just so there's not a harsh line. Bubble there we need to get taken care of. And you know what? If bubbles pop up, it's okay because it's an ocean scene. There's supposed to be bubbles. We'll try to get rid of some of the surface bubbles by putting spraying some alcohol. And then I do have some starfish and some seashells and stuff like that that we're going to add to these to give them a little character. So we'll add a starfish right there. And I got little broken edges like that. I try and tuck those broken edges into the corner to make it look like it's meant to be there. There we go. You don't have to push them very far down in there, but I like to, you want to make sure you push them down in there far enough that they're going to stick. I'm going to flip this one over. And then I have some shells that we'll also use in here. I have some of these. I actually got these from Dollar Tree. These are all pretty big. I think I'm gonna pass on these. These are all really big and I don't want that big of a shell on there. I want them to stay pretty small. Let me grab a different. So these are craft seashells. I believe I got Amazon, maybe? I don't remember where I got these. I'll see if I can find it. But these are a lot smaller. And you want to make sure that you get it down under where the top will be, because you don't want it to bulge out on the top of the coaster. So I'm just gently pushing those, and groups of threes always looks nice. There we go. The problem with these is you're going to have a hole in the bottom, so you're going to need to use your tweezers and dip it in the resin so that you can fill the inside of the shell. So there's not such a big gap of air under there, because otherwise it's going to cause you problems when you go to top coat. And then I do have some rocks and some smaller shells in this one, but I think that's enough for those. So we're gonna leave that alone. All right, so I just wanna go and I'm gonna look down across there, like this one's sitting too high. I need to push that down. All right, those look good. We are going to let those sit with my heating mat on. It won't take very long at all for those to do their thing. I am gonna mix this up just a little bit more here. I almost lost my light blue, didn't I? All right, we'll be back once this cures. Okay, so things probably look a little different than they did when we saw each other last. This is, my camera did not record like I thought it did. I'm having some difficulties with this phone. So I finished the other set and sent the photograph to my client, and she loved it and showed her mother the pictures that I sent her, and I'll insert those right here. And her mom loved them, so they have ordered another set. So while I didn't get to show you how I finished the last set, I will get to show you how I finished this set. So this one is done, and I'm going to show you how Just ignore my little extras there. That was leftover resin from my last set, and I just colored it pink and purple and made those, and I'll turn them into push pins. So on this set here, while these little starfish are absolutely adorable, they're so they create a lot of bubbles. Let's just put it that way. They're such a pain in the tail. But what we do is I've gone ahead and I've done it to this one, and this one, these three. I've left this one alone so I could show you how I fix that. And all I do is I take my mini drill and I turn it on high, and then I'm just going to drill that spot out a lot like a dentist would if you had a cavity. I'm going to drill that hole out and make it a decent size, and that way I can push resin down inside of it, and then you'll never know it was there. So, and I don't know if you can tell it, I've already done it to this starfish here. He's got a little hole there in the center. And then this little booger, he has one there in the center, I think. Yeah, and I had one right there on that seashell. The seashell must have had some air under it, and I got a bubble there too. So I've gone ahead and drilled these three out, and I'm going to show you how to do this one. And I'm going to move these so I don't get them dirty. Just turn your drill up on high. Well, this isn't a powerful drill, so I can turn this one on high and then just drill it out. It won't take much to get through the surface. And then you just drill it out. And then I take one of my micro brushes, and I just have a bottle of alcohol here. And I'll just get some alcohol on there and then just go around the inside of that and clean it up really good, because you don't want to be able to see any debris or anything down in that hole when you fill it with resin. You want it to be nice and clean. And there you go. Now it's ready to be filled or top coated. So then what I do is I have my resin that I've mixed up here, and I used to make wedding cakes and birthday cakes and all that stuff, but once my tremors got bad, it's really hard to write on cakes and to do icing when you're shaking as bad as I do. So I'm just gonna fill that hole, and you can see there's a little bubble there. So now I have a micro brush that I've taken the tip off of, the little cotton swab off of the end. And I'm just gonna push that down in there and pull that bubble on out of there. And pop it, and just like that, you can't even see it. So that one's done. And then I'm just gonna finish putting resin on the top of this. You don't want a lot because you don't want it to overflow. And then you spread it to all four corners, and just like a cake, just spread it across the top nice and thin. You want it thick enough that it covers everything, otherwise you're going to end up with void pockets. And just like that, it's all covered. So the next thing I'll do is I took a little bit of this resin and I mixed in some of my Ocean White by Let's Resin to make a nice white resin. Let's see if I can do this here. And you just get some on the end of the popsicle stick, and I'm gonna just push some right through here. And it really just depends on how much you want. You can have as little or as many waves as you want. And then the waves should go out away from this. So then what I do, whoops, I need to drag that to the edge a little bit better. Here we go. And then I just blow my resin that direction, but I want to make sure that I hold my glove on the side so that it doesn't push my resin over the side. So I'm just going to hold it right there. got my hair in it. And that looks great. And I'll leave it just like that. And now I'm going to come back to it here in just a little bit to make sure that I don't have any void spots after the resin settles. And if I see some spots where it doesn't look like it's covered, then I can just take this and just drop a little bit on there. And now I'll fast forward you through these two so you don't have to watch me do this. I mean, you can watch me do it, you just won't have to watch it in real time. Separate those out a little bit, and then I can just feather this up a little bit, and see this one's drying and it's already getting that look, that wave look. And I got enough resin to probably do a mousse. I'm gonna take my heat gun and just run over it just a little bit to see if I can get these to soften up a bit. All right, that looks fantastic. I absolutely love it. So we're gonna finish this up here. I will show you some pictures of what they look like. I appreciate you being here today. I hope you found some inspiration, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you.